How we could be manipulated using our identity to get us to comply and how to avoid it. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Mind Engineer community. Here, Tommy Walker. I'm trying to help you guys with information, insight, and tools to start being able to make changes in different aspects of your life. But also, it's important to understand how the mind works and how, in this case, we could be manipulated by others on purpose, or a lot of people do it without even realizing, because this is what has been done to them. And today I was talking to a woman and she went through a very uncomfortable situation with a guy. And I, came up with this topic for today, talking about how others could be, in a way, manipulating a man to a woman, or vice versa, right? So I want to talk a little bit about how manipulation, persuasion sometimes look like, and we might not be aware of it. So when I'm saying right now that these people might use your identity to, of course, be able to comply to whatever they want, I'm going to share a little bit more. What does that mean? And it's amazing, again, how the mind works. So imagine that you are with a person, right? That, maybe imagine Granny, right? Granny cooked, right? And you're eating food, you ate your plate, and she's like, hey, do you want some more? And you say, like, no, no, I'm done. I'm all full. Thank you very much. I don't want any more. So what she might do is say something like, oh, come on, don't be mean. I've cooked all afternoon for you. Have you ever experienced something like that when somebody is trying to get you to do something that they want and they talk about you and your being? Don't be mean. Don't be nasty. Don't be selfish. Don't be this or that. They're talking about your identity. It's not a true identity, don't get me wrong, but they're talking about you. So a lot of people start crossing lines that we say, okay, I would go up to here with somebody, and then I go through a situation where that boundary that I thought I had was walked all over, and I don't know what happened. And seriously, I talked to a lot of people, mainly women, that have gone through different type of situation, nearly so-called, nearly sexual abuse, and they don't realize what actually happened. It's like, what just happened? And they're blaming themselves like they did something wrong. And that's because, again, many people are using identity to get past those boundaries that we're supposed to have. So I work with lots of women that tell me, that line that I thought I had got so blurry. And it's not that it got blurry, it's just that as this person used these type of manipulation tactics to, oh, you're one of the good guys, right? That you know what's best for you. Identity, you are one of the good guys. You are a hard worker. You are a patriot. So patriots use this product. Patriots buy this. Or if not, you use the opposite, right? And if you look at this on social media, on even, the news, you're going to see a lot of this. When, the pandemic hit, you saw a lot of people going between, the people that had gotten the shot and the people that didn't get the shot. And it was opposing, oh, the anti-vax or the vax. And it was all fighting. So a lot of people start creating this identity to, of course, get people to comply more with that identity. And they start saying like, oh, this identity over here, imagine that the people that care for the planet are the good guys. So if you don't supposedly care for, I don't know, you have a computer and use a computer, suddenly it's like, oh, you're one of the bad guys. And they start tagging people according to their behaviors by using identity. Does this make sense so far? Have you experienced this? Type it in the chat if you have experienced this in the past, where suddenly you start thinking about this and you start seeing that, whoa, maybe somebody got me to do something that I wasn't very, aware of it. I wasn't really wanting to do, but with this person, something happened and you don't even know what happened. And you ended up doing something that you didn't want to do. And I see this a lot with these, persuasion, manipulation, because again, a knife can be used to cut meat, to cut food or whatever, or it can be used to kill somebody. So is the knife the problem? No, it's the person that uses it. And I've been learning a lot of persuasion, a lot of manipulation, not to use it against people, but to become more aware and to able to help people become more aware of this. And this conversation, I'm so glad that I went down that path, because seriously, guys, lately I've been having this, intuition that I had to go down this path, following this guy, talking about different manipulation tactics, persuasion tactics, and things like that. And now I realize why I went down that road. Seriously, till this morning, I wasn't sure if I had to keep going down that road, because, it's taking time from different areas of my life that I would also like to invest. But after I had this conversation with this woman, I was like, hey, you know what? And I offered her, why don't you put together a small group of women or a big group of women, it doesn't matter, a group of women, and I'll offer a workshop that is going to be something like, it's in Spanish, but let me translate a little bit. No is no, how to spot manipulation and how to keep your boundaries, or how to keep your, how to, I don't remember how I put it, but something like that. So I'm really happy that I went down that, because, and what does that have to do with mindset? Because again, understanding the mind and understanding who I am, my identity, is going to help me spot out these things and not doubt myself. Because what I see in men and women, right? But in these cases of women that have been abused sexually and they're not even aware that that was an abuse, right? They were not raped, but there was an abuse. There were many no's, and the guy kept on, asking yes, yes, let's do it, pushing, 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 till the guy got what they wanted. So now I'm like, whoa. And so what does that have to do with the mind? If I have a strong identity of who I am, if you say, oh, Tommy, you're one of the bad guys if you don't do this or that, if you don't comply with this, I know that I'm not the bad guy. You see what I mean? So it's being able to realize how it is hitting. Because if you look in marketing, you're going to see a lot of this manipulation. Who is this for? Many courses or programs and things like that says, who is this for? And if you check in there, and if they done it correctly, right, you're going to find that they speak about an identity. They don't just say, oh, people that are, committed. No, people that are committed to the planet, committed to humanity, committed to blah, 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 right? Oh, I'm committed to spirituality, or I'm committed to humanity. So I have to be part of that, because if I've left behind, supposedly I'm not committed. You see how tricky it is, what I'm saying right now? If you don't acquire this product, if you don't pay for this course or this program, you're not part of that identity. And it's not true, because you can buy that course, or you might not buy that course, but your identity shouldn't change. But the problem is, as I always say, we all have unresolved issues. And this is how this manipulation, whether it is in marketing and sales, whether it is a guy or a woman trying to get what they want in whatever area, there is this going on. They use these unresolved issues that we have to talk about identity, right? One of the things, I was reading a book, right? I haven't finished it yet, but it's amazing how it talks about how men get women to have sex with them, or even kind of rape them, right? By getting into their homes, being first a good guy, and then once they're in their house, they commit the rape or even kill woman. And so why does that happen? It has to do with this. Imagine that you're getting to your home with your groceries, and a guy approaches you, nice guy, well-dressed, and says, hey, can I help you with the groceries, to get them to your house? Oh, no, I'm okay, no worries. First response, typically, it's like, no, I'm okay, no worries, thank you very much. No, come on, please. And they start with, I'm not going to hurt you. And they even telling you, why would they say, I'm not going to hurt you? Did you say, oh, I'm scared of you hurting me? No, but they're already kind of putting an objection out there of, don't think that I'm going to hurt you, right? So, oh, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to bite, right? Or another thing that they use a lot is, oh, come on, let me be a gentleman. Listen to this one, because this is one of the trickiest ones. Let me be a gentleman. So if you don't let them be a gentleman by taking your groceries to your home, you are the bad person. You see how tricky that is? So if you're the bad person, you don't want to be the bad person. So suddenly you extend your limits and say, okay, yeah, let him help me take the groceries to the front of the door. Once you're at the front of the door, you're opening the door and say, okay, leave them here. No, come on. I came up to here. Come on. I cannot just drop them here and leave. That would be so disrespectful for me. What would my mom say if she finds out that I just did this? And they start playing this tricky game of pushing your limits. And each time you say no, they go over that. It's like there was no no. For them, the no doesn't exist. And they push a little bit more. And they push a little bit more. And they push a little bit more. When you realize this guy is in the house taking advantage of this person, but it's too late. And this guy, the studies that he has done is that every woman that went through this that he couldn't interview, all of them felt that something was off with the guy. Something was off with the guy. But as this guy was playing this game of being the good guy, like, oh, come on, let me be a gentleman. Don't make me look like the bad guy. Don't make me look like I'm not a gentleman. Don't let my mom find out that I'm not a whatever. They start playing this game of their identity or your identity, and boom, they got you to do something that you didn't want to do. So, and this plays even, again, as I was saying, with kids, right? When somebody tells a kid, oh, come on, I've done all of this for you. You're not going to do this for me. That is manipulation. We all have done it to others, and it has been done to us. And most of the times we don't realize this. So again, it's based on our unresolved issues. Because again, if I knew who I am, if you say, oh, people that are, care for humanity would get the vaccine or would get blah, 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 or would do this or would do that, identity. So slowly they start bringing the identity in to make you feel that if you are not complying with what they want, you're not that identity. Listen to that again. If you're not complying with what they want, you're not that identity. And the cues use it in positive or in negative. Oh, I imagine that you're not one of those, Richard, that, quits fast, right? If I want you not to quit, I'm going to talk about that identity. Or I imagine that you're the guys, those that don't quit, right? Or if I want to do something, I could do something like that with an identity. So we got to be careful, because I love what this guy talks about. And this is what I want to bring, deeper with this conversation, is your intuition. We all know what's going on at a deeper level. We might feel a little bit of fear. We might feel a little bit uncomfortable. But as we were taught during childhood that fear is bad, we tend to not see those signs consciously because we're suppressing what's going on within. This woman I was talking this morning told me that there were many instances that she didn't feel comfortable. But this guy played it till he got what he wanted. Okay, so it's important to understand that through marketing, through many things, people are pushing those limits to try to get you to fall, to comply for what they want. And our insecurity, self-esteem, self-confidence, different things fall in play. So the idea is, instead of beating yourself up if this happened in the past, whether it is you were scammed, whether it is you did something that you didn't want, or you didn't do something that you wanted because somebody was manipulating you, instead of beating yourself up, as I always say, guys, let's go back to loving and accepting every part of us. Yes, you know what? I was manipulated in the past. A couple of years, 6, 7 years ago, I was scammed $10,000. I was scammed $10,000 and I felt like crap. But I started this again, self-love, practice a lot, and I was able to overcome it. And now I see it as the best thing that could have happened in my life because it helped me grow exponentially. So instead of beating myself up, I learn from it. I love and accept myself. Most people, and I've seen this in many, many women, they start judging themselves like, what's wrong with me that although I didn't want it, I ended up having sex or doing this that I didn't want to do. And they start beating themselves up for what they did instead of just saying, okay, what did just happen? What happened a year ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? It doesn't matter. What did really happen? Well, maybe a part of me wanted to feel loved and accepted. And maybe I wanted a kiss. Maybe I wanted, a little bit of cuddling. I didn't want to go all the way. And the guy kept on pushing and pushing and pushing. He pushed the limits. You accept it, of course, don't get me wrong, until a certain part, except it goes under force. And we call it now rape. Don't get me wrong, please. I'm not saying that everybody that has been raped is the same thing. No, no, no. A lot of women don't want it at all, and they go over that what they want and they rape them. That is different. This is where the woman doesn't go into no, 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 pushing him away, like seriously getting forcing him to get away, and the guy forcing her to do whatever he wants. No, no, I'm talking about the cases where the woman kind of pushes her limits and keeps going till she finds in a situation that was, how did I end up with this? And then they fall into negative self-talk, beating themselves up, and they feel like crap. So again, the important thing is to understand that we all have unresolved issues and we have been trained to ignore our intuition. I rather listen to my intuition and walk away from situations than stick in them just to make others, not feel bad or to whatever. And this is what happens a lot. A lot of people don't listen to their intuition because, oh, I don't feel comfortable in this meeting. I want to leave. Oh no, but what are they going to think if I leave? What are they going to say if I leave? And we start falling into that. And that then rules extending our limitation, our boundaries. And suddenly we might find ourselves in a situation that we didn't want to be in the first place. But it's that lack of listening to our intuition, our inner connection, our inner wisdom, our higher self, the name you want to put it. But we're so disconnected many times that it's really painful to see. I've been doing this for 16 years, and you have no idea the amount of women and some men that I work with that have gone from some type of abuse, and mainly, women in their 20s and their 30s and their 40s, that they were not comfortable with what happened, but they were convincing themselves that they put themselves in that situation. It's like blaming themselves. That is manipulation from the other person. So I offer this person, if they wanted, to put together a group of people to offer a workshop specifically on this, on starting to connect more with themselves, connect with their intuition. Because one of the things that I was writing, look at this, that I wrote, that I loved it, how it came out, right? I was putting some things in ChatGPT and I started playing around with that to make a proposal. And look what came out that I really loved it, right? How was it? Your body knows before your mind understands. Your body knows before your mind understands. The problem is that many times we repress it. Oh, but this guy is so good. Look at him. This guy is so nice, so sweet. And we start going down that, in a way, validating because of what we're seeing. And we don't want to look like the bad guy saying to this guy, look, I don't need your help. No, I don't want this. No. Being able to put down your foot and say no is no and done. I'm not saying it's easy, but imagine calling the police for a guy that is trying to help you with your groceries inside of your house. Imagine how that would sound to the police or to your friends. Many would say, oh, come on, Tommy, you're exaggerating. Come on, Tommy, don't exaggerate. You know how many times I've heard that before? Tommy, you're exaggerating. Once, my son, 12 years old, back then he was like 3 or 4, he was running around. My mother-in-law has like a small garden in the back of her house, and she was ironing as her grandkids were running around in the same place he was ironing. So she was ironing and the kids were running around this small patio, right? And I told my wife, hey, I don't like this scene. This scene of your mom ironing the clothes, right? With an iron, right? Hot iron, right? Ironing the clothes. The kids running around. I feel this is very unsafe. You know what my wife said? Come on, don't be so exaggerated. My mom knows what she's doing. 10 minutes later, my son starts screaming like hell. I turn around and it wasn't on purpose. A piece of cloth fell onto the floor. And a kid fell too. So my mother-in-law was trying to help this kid while with the other hand, she went like this. And she didn't realize that behind her was my son. And she ironed my son like this. Seriously, put the iron like this. And my son, as soon as he got burnt, he put his arm up. So he was ironed here and here. He could have lost his eye. But I was the exaggeration. I was seeing things. Oh, Tommy, come on, you're exaggerating. That's identity. You see what I mean? Oh, don't be such, but don't be such a blah identity. And this happens to everyone, people. So it's very important to understand. And again, I don't think she did on purpose. I'm not, I don't hate her or anything, but she could have made my kid lose his eye because of her not realizing that what she was doing was not safe. There were 3 or 4 kids running around in that patio. It was about to happen. It was the chances of happening were very high, but nobody listened. Like everybody was like, "Oh, come on, Tommy, my mom is not going to do that. She's very careful." Suddenly, when I saw my kid burnt like this, you see across his eye, I was like, "Darn!" Because one thing is the arm. Okay, that could get fixed. It's okay, but here, the eye, he could have lost it, and that is not reversible. So again, because I didn't want to be the bad guy telling my mother-in-law to stop doing something, I allowed it. I allowed it because I should have said, no, if the kids are going to run, you're not going to iron, or the kids are going to run inside, but they're not going to run outside, putting themselves in danger because of this. But again, I didn't want to be the bad guy. So I allowed my boundaries to be pushed. And then something happened. And if we look back in our lives, guys, you're going to see moments where you didn't listen to your intuition. Why? Because you didn't want to be that guy, that woman, that guy. Yes? So the idea is to start trusting ourselves. And if somebody gets pissed at me because I'm telling them that they don't want them to iron around my kids or around any other kids, they have to deal with it. Or I take my kids inside, or I take my kids somewhere else. And if I'm the bad guy, I'm sorry. But I'd rather be the bad guy that avoids an accident than then be like my kid lost an eye because I didn't do anything. I'm not saying it's easy, but our unresolved issues get in the way of whatever life we are trying to move forward with. So I thought it was an interesting topic to talk about because, again, as I was saying, this works in many places. I want you to start being more aware, more conscious, social media and marketing and advertising, how normally they want to portray an identity. People that have a lot of money, status, right? Family, Coca-Cola. If you look at Coca-Cola, each time you see advertising from Coca-Cola, most of the times in the winter season, in the Christmas season, you see a family gathered around a house. What is Coca-Cola, right? Is a family united drinking Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola unites. It's very subtle, guys, but look at that. If you look at how marketing is playing, it's amazing how, again, they create identities. And it works. Seriously, it works like hell. So I want to bring this to your attention so that you're careful, whether it is with a brother, whether it is with your mother, whether it is with a sister, whether it is with a guy, with a woman, it doesn't matter. Many times people are going to use these identities to try to make you comply. So if you're aware and you feel like something is not okay here, instead of thinking that you're the problem, now realize, okay, wait. This is not about me. This is about them. What are they trying to do? What is this guy trying to tell me when a friend of mine says, come on, Tommy, don't be a bummer. Don't be, lazy. Don't be blah, blah, blah. Let's go out. Let's do this. Let's blah. Let's go talk to this woman. Like, no, I don't feel comfortable. I'm married. Why should I go pick up with him and with you? Come on, don't be silly. Don't be blah. Don't be identity so that you comply. Okay, let's go talk, but I'm not doing anything else than that. And then suddenly, boom, keep pushing, till suddenly you're like, what did just happen? And it's very subtle, guys, because if seriously it went from 0 to 100 very fast, you would realize. So these moving the boundaries is very subtle. Like, come on, don't be mean. Come with us. Let's have fun. Come on, stay with me. I'm not going to bite. I'm the good guy. So the name of the book is The Gift of Fear. The Gift of Fear. Fear is not bad. Fear is an alarm in the body that is telling us that there is something that we need to pay attention to. The Gift of Fear opened my mind to a new world that I wasn't much aware of, right? I'm still working on things of mine, but right, how do others try to influence to, manipulate me in a bad way for their own advantage? So I hope that makes sense. I hope you enjoyed this. many of these people that are doing these tactics are not even aware of this. Just to be clear, that it's not about looking at them like the enemy, because first of all, we have done it in the past to others, maybe to friends, to our partners, to our kids. Don't be mean, telling your kid to try to comply to do something that you wanted. It happens. We were trained to do that from our parents, from the environment. So it's not about beating yourself up if you're doing it or hating your friend that is doing it, looking at them in a more compassionate way and being able to anchor who you are and say, hey, you're saying that I'm mean if I don't go out with you. And you're saying that I'm mean if I don't buy this car from you. I'm saying that I'm mean if I don't do this. Why am I mean? And you expose it without confrontation, just saying, hey, you just said that I'm mean if I don't do this. Why? If I don't feel like doing it, I don't need to do it. So I'm exposing the manipulation so the other person realizes that I'm aware of it, and they might not even be aware of it. So again, it's not attacking, it's just stating the facts. And then say, you know what? I prefer not to. I rather not. Be able to stand back and see, what is this moving inside of me? What is this identity shift that this guy is trying to obtain, or making me part of an identity that I'm allowing it in a way, right? Because they're very subtle many times. So what is this moving inside of me? What if I don't go? What if I don't comply? How would that make me feel? Oh, that I'm the bad guy, that I'm a loser, that I'm a failure, that I'm blah, whatever. Okay, there we go. That is what we need to work on. The more we're able to see these things, the less we're going to fall into manipulation, into this type of persuasion that a lot of people out there are using for their own benefit. I hope, again, that makes sense. I hope you can use this to protect yourself, right? Because a lot of this is going on there, and it is, a way to protect us by knowing more about this. So again, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you want to know more about this or any other topic, just let me know. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.